Can you test your aging timeline? How new biomarkers are redefining midlife. Because turning 50 doesn't mean much if your cells think you're 63. For most of modern medicine, your age has been a number printed on your driver's license. Chronological,
Clean.
legal, but biologically? It turns out the body doesn't care what year you were born. Inside your bloodstream, in your cells, and even written into your DNA, a different age is ticking. And now, thanks to a new wave of scientific tools, you can actually measure it. Welcome to the future of personalized aging, a field where protein profiles, DNA methylation, and metabolic fingerprints are rapidly replacing calendars as the true clock of your lifespan. Or more importantly, your health span. How long you stay not just alive, but sharp, mobile, pain-free, and independent. So, yes, you can test your aging timeline. And what you do with that information could be the difference between a slow decline and a strategic reversal. The current gold standard in this space is the epigenetic clock. First popularized by UCLA biostatistician Steve Horvath, it works by analyzing DNA methylation patterns, tiny chemical tags that stick to your genes and influence how they're expressed. These methylation marks don't change the DNA code itself, but they tell it what to do. Over time, as cells age and accumulate damage, the methylation patterns shift in a predictable way. Researchers can now compare your unique methylation fingerprint to massive reference datasets and estimate your biological age, often within a year or two of accuracy. And the results can be either empowering or existentially rude. Many people discover that their biological age is older than their chronological one, meaning they're aging faster than expected. But others find their cells are keeping it together far better than their birth certificate would suggest. Either way, it's no longer a mystery. Your body's inner timeline is now measurable and, more importantly, modifiable. Next in line are proteomic clocks, blood-based tests that analyze the thousands of proteins circulating in your plasma. These proteins control inflammation, metabolism, tissue repair, and immune response. Some of them, like the infamous group of 48 aging-associated proteins, spike dramatically around midlife. Proteomic aging clocks work by mapping which proteins are upregulated or suppressed, and whether your pattern matches that of someone thriving at 45 or struggling at 65. There's also metabolomic testing, which evaluates the small molecules and chemical byproducts floating in your blood and urine. These give a real-time snapshot of your metabolism, how well you process sugars, fats, amino acids, and toxins. Unlike genetic testing, which gives you a static report, metabolomics shows how your body is responding to your lifestyle, what you eat, how you sleep, your stress levels, and even your microbiome. If your metabolome looks sluggish or stressed, it's a signal your aging trajectory may be veering off course. And that's the key. These tests don't just give you a number. They give you leverage. Let's say your biological age comes back 5 years older than your actual age. Do you panic? Not necessarily. That result might prompt you to make tangible changes: more fiber and antioxidants, better sleep hygiene, more consistent strength training, maybe less time screaming at spreadsheets under fluorescent lighting. And the wild part? You can retake the test a year later and sometimes see your biological age drop. Not theoretically, literally. Studies have shown that interventions like intermittent fasting, plant-forward diets, daily walking, meditation, or even taking supplements like NMN or spermidine can reverse some markers of biological aging. In clinical trials, participants have seen epigenetic age reductions of 1 to 3 years in as little as 8 weeks. The aging clock isn't fixed. It listens. But this data also comes with responsibility. Knowing your biological age can be liberating but also anxiety-inducing. It's one thing to suspect you're aging fast. It's another to see it in hard numbers. That's why interpretation matters. These tests should be seen as a guide, not a verdict. They point you toward intervention, not doom. And importantly, we're just scratching the surface. As more people test and track their biological age over time, we'll start to build personalized maps of what works, what doesn't, and which interventions actually move the needle for real-world people, not just lab mice and hyper-optimized wellness influencers. In other words, midlife is no longer a guessing game. It's a checkpoint, a measurable, trackable, improvable stage in the aging journey. You're no longer flying blind until your doctor tells you your blood pressure is too high or your memory's slipping. With these tools, you can see the trajectory before the crash and adjust course. So yes, you can test your aging timeline. And you probably should. Not because you need another number to obsess over, but because knowledge is power and biology is more flexible than we ever imagined. The future of aging isn't about adding years at the end. It's about regaining control in the middle. And that future, remarkably, starts with a few drops of blood and a willingness to look under the hood before the engine light comes on.